Haikyuu. I said I was gonna do it a while ago, and well, here we are. This is going to be mainly about seasons 1 to 3, because I'm currently in the middle of watching season 4, which I'm enjoying. So I'll probably make a separate thing about season 4. But this will be mostly covering seasons 1 to 3. So if you don't know what Haikyuu is, I guess we'll jump right into it. It's a sports anime about volleyball. And it follows the character Hinata Shoyo and his adventure through his experience playing volleyball. At least that's what it is at the surface. Because, for me, one of the great things about the show is that there is a wide variety of cast members and teams that they introduce you to that are unique and have their own personalities, and it just sucks you in, all the characters and all the teams. At first it's kind of a lot, because in the first season they kind of throw you in with the main character Hinata, and eventually start piling on a bunch of team members, and you kind of get introduced to another team. Why can't I remember the team? Jesus. Alba Josai, and a few others along the way, but it's a lot at once, and it might be a little overwhelming at first, but I was gonna say trust me, because it's something you'll enjoy, but I can't speak for everyone, but for me at least, I really enjoyed the fact that there were so many characters, like Oikawa and Aone, and the list can go on and on. Tendo from Shiratorizawa. There are a lot of characters, and I can't name all of them off the top of my head at the moment. I haven't seen the first 3 seasons in a while. I was planning on rewatching them before the 4th season, but I just didn't have the time. But trust me, all the characters and all the teams are fantastic. The chants that the schools that they're from chant while they're playing are all amazing as well. Very catchy. And something that's really, really unique, well, I don't know if it's unique per se, but something that I found really interesting and relatable. In the 2nd season, when they're, on their way, well, obviously, there's gonna be some mild spoilers. Well, I guess not really mild, but there are gonna be spoilers in this, so if you haven't watched it, I would. It's a great anime. Like I said, a lot of great characters, a lot of great teams. It's a very feel-good type of anime. But I digress. So, in season 2, when they're on their way to playing Alba Josai, they come across a lot of teams that aren't too much of an issue for them. And you would kind of think that the episodes would be kind of boring. In the teams they would play would not be that interesting. However, that wasn't the case for me. I don't remember the name of the school that they played, but it was one of the teams where it was like the message was, the people or the players on the team were like, oh, if only we practiced, a little more, expected to lose, and I don't know. I feel like the teams that are highlighted in the show, and obviously, the main team that we're following throughout the series are like, main characters. And they're the one in a million teams. And it was kind of cool to see, like an average Joe team, portrayed in the anime, but also not just, just so they can get crushed, but, there's also a bit of character and character development there. The main captain guy, he wants to turn it around. He's inspired by, this hardworking team, because prior, the main team, Karasuno, was not, they were a great team, and then they kind of fell off because their head coach stopped coaching because he had a health issue. He was in the hospital, and he stopped coaching for a bit. So their school fell out of, the powerhouse standing. So, the average Joe team was inspired. But, that kind of thing where it's like, it could have been just like an easy thing to have in the show where it's like, oh, they progress through the preliminary matches, and, now they're in the semifinals, and, or the finals, and they get in, and, things are interesting. But I thought it was a really, really cool, like, lesson, I don't know, because I feel like a lot of us can relate to that, right? And they did that also, I think, in season, I don't know, I can't recall if it was season 1 or season 2, but the girls' team at Karasuno kind of had the same like, message of, these characters, not the main Karasuno roster, but, like, the random school and the girls' team. You have that feeling of, like, oh, if only I had, practiced more, or, if only we did this, and Karasuno and a lot of the schools they highlight are, the epitome of, we're doing everything we can, and then some. And I don't know, I just, there's something about it that is really inspiring, and just, it's really, I'm struggling to find the words. It's satisfying, just to see, like, these kids, these players, try their hardest each and every single day, and, have it, pay off in certain ways. But, yeah, it's incredible. Just the duality they have in the show, like I was saying, from the really hardworking teams to the not so hardworking teams. And it's not, it's not a big part of the show. It's like this one little thing, but I think it's important because, when you have anime in general, it's like, you have this, in most animes, it's like you follow a main protagonist that, is gifted. He's the one, he's the strong one, or she's the strong one, or, this team is the strong team. But it's nice to take a step back from that and take a look at, like, an average team, and, see how they're inspired by it. And especially, I don't know, I can connect to this anime a lot in general because I'm a very competitive person, which a lot of these players are. It's a big driving force for them, I can imagine. But yeah, I'm a very competitive person. I played sports a lot in, high school, college, and, yeah, I can relate to, that feeling of, hey, if only we practiced more, or, what if I just, push myself a little harder in this moment, and, I feel like everyone can relate to that, whether or not, you played a sport. It doesn't have to be strictly related to sports, but, in some way of just being, if only I tried a little harder, and all that. That was a long rant about a subject that I probably just, I know I did. I just circled myself for about, 8 minutes. But, that's what we get with the Whisper Rambles. But, that topic kind of leads into something else I wanted to talk about, which was another reason why I might have enjoyed this anime a lot, is that up until this point, I've watched a lot of anime that was like, okay, if we, speaking as like a main character from that show, if we don't do this, then it's literally the end of the world. The world will end, everything, it's like everything rides on our, actions, and if whether or not we fail. And something so, endearing about Haikyuu and sports anime in general is that if they lose, or if something bad happens, it's not the end, literal end of the world. It's kind of just like a nice, like, and there's hype moments in Haikyuu for sure there are hype moments. But the weight, of their actions are different. And I think it's just nice to, have an anime where it's like, it's different. It's not the end of the world if, Saitama doesn't defeat the big bad, and so on. But, in that way it makes it relatable, or more relatable, I should say. And again, that could just be because I played sports and I'm a very competitive person, but I don't know. And I'm not saying you have to, have played sports and be a competitive person to like Haikyuu. I'm just saying that it was easier for me to relate because, it's much more grounded than, shooting lasers out of my hands and, going Super Saiyan or something. Although, who hasn't tried at some point, right? But yeah, I just thought, it was a nice change of pace from the anime that I was currently watching. So yeah, to move on a little bit, I was just kind of rambling for the, first part of this video, so I did write some things down, and I'm just gonna start going down the list now. But I just thought the humor and the seriousness, balance each other out quite well in the show. There's a lot of humor in it, but, when it's serious time, it's serious time. And even, in the show where there are serious moments, it's a serious game, and tensions are high. There are some times where humor is needed to break tension, and I think they do that pretty well in the show. And, yeah, I just think it's well done, and not even just in those moments, but just overall as a whole. The humor versus the serious nature of it is balanced pretty well, I think. But, yeah, and in the first episode, I kind of thought that they were setting us up for Kageyama versus Hinata, like, showdown in the Nationals. But, yeah, I was sorely mistaken when they become teammates in the first episode. But I also thought that was a really good decision. Because, it's, learning to get along with someone you don't necessarily see eye to eye with. And I think it's really cool because the one thing that, they both love is winning. They want to compete, they want to win, they want to be the best that they can be. And that's, from my point of view, is, what brings them together, at least initially. Like, to spark initially is that, like, hey, this guy is doing whatever it takes to win, and is trying their best, and is succeeding in doing so. And I think that's, a common theme throughout the show, is that every main, like, team is doing the best that they can, and they want to win so bad. And, it really hits home, like I said, because I'm a super competitive person. I feel that just the want and hunger for victory. Sounds so cheesy, but I mean, hey, who doesn't like to win? Who likes to lose? Not me. Obviously, and when things are for fun, they're for fun. But even then, sometimes I'm like, I kind of want to win. But yeah, you can really sense those moments, especially after the first season, when Karasuno loses to Albajosai in the semi-finals, I think. I don't quite remember. I think it was the semi-finals or quarterfinals. But yeah, obviously they're super upset, and then they go out to eat, and then there's that whole scene where they're just weeping while eating because they're just, they've accepted it. They know that, that they were the better team, and there's nothing they can do about it. But that, it doesn't. There's that old cliche. It's like, I only get mad, or people only cry when they're genuinely like their feelings are genuine about winning. Like they want to win so bad that they have these emotions, and yeah, that really shines through. Aomashosai does the same thing when they get defeated in season 2, and again, Shiratorizawa, they all have it as well when they lose in season 3, and it's just a common theme. Same with Tateko when they lose. And, even in every team, I forgot what team has the 2-meter tall guy, but yeah, them too. And even that character in and of himself, it's just a common theme, and every time it shows up, I'm like, yep, that, there it is. And it's still hitting hard. But yeah, along that line, initially, one of the other main characters, Kageyama, so it's like the main character is Hinata, but Kageyama gets almost as much, if not more, in some spots, screen time as Hinata. And at first you kind of don't like him, and I think that, obviously that's intentional, and, some people still might not like him as things progress, but I feel like, you learn to love him, and initially, he comes off as this, like, rude, and, they call him the king because he's, bossing people around, and, all that. And, I feel like, at first, it rubs you the wrong way. But, I think as the show goes on, you learn that it's not from a place of just being mean. It's because he wants to win. And that want to win is so strong that, he ignores all the social cues. And actually, he struggles with social cues. He's just like, I want to win. This is the best way that I know how. And you guys should be doing the same. And, he gets better with it as the show goes on. And it's just because it's not coming from a place of intentional, disrespect, I think, is that what makes me, warm up to Kageyama as the series goes on. Maybe because I'm also a jerk when, I'm playing something competitive, but, take that as you will. Another one of the main characters, at least in seasons 1 to 3, is Daichi, the captain of Karasuno. They set it up. Oh, I think it might start. I think it might be raining outside now. Interesting. Sorry. Yeah, so Daichi, the captain, they kind of set him up at the end of season 3. Either season 3 or season 2, I can't remember. But, they kind of talk about how Daichi is just like the unsung hero. He's kind of keeps everything together, not only with his steady receives and, it's just general good, game knowledge, but with his leadership and the way that he can read his teammates and, give them the support they need. Middle of the game as well, when, tensions are high, he knows how to diffuse the situation and all that. And I think they do a great job of setting that up and executing it. But then also, if you go back and rewatch the show, like I have a numerous amount of times, because I knew it was something that I took note of, is that that's steady throughout the show. They present that to you, like, it's like, if you haven't figured it out yet, here you go, in like season 2 or 3. But in the very first season, when they do the 2-on-2, Daichi is on Suki's team for the 3-on-3. And, stops Kageyama's jump start. I mean, there's like small things like that littered throughout the first season. And, yeah, I think just, overall, in a bunch of the games, Taichi's is always the one with a steady receive against, you know, the tough customers. I think he also, you know, receives a few from Oikawa, and just you know, it's just a constant thing where it's like, oh, yeah, there's Taichi. Like they don't push it in your face that it's Taichi, but then you start realizing, oh wait, that's Taichi, like all the time. I thought that was something that was really, really cool. And another thing I really liked about the show was that there was no like plot armor, right? Season 1 they lose. Season 2, because they lost in season 1, I thought they might lose to Aobajosai again. But yeah, they lose in season 1 crushingly. They set it up like they're about to get in the fast quick. The fast quick. You know what I mean? The freak attack, as they call it. The freak quick. But yeah, they get stopped. And Oikawa almost stops it in season 2. But yeah, they're not afraid to shut it down, and as the games progress in season 2 and season 3, their special weapons don't work every single time. They don't have this, you know, special technique that, you know, main characters usually learn, and like, oh yes, the main character learns this, but they only use it in this certain situation, and it's like their get out of jail free card. Not in Haikyuu. They have their tools, and yeah, it might work a couple times, but the other team is always evolving and, you know, changing to their strategy to accommodate for what Kurasano throws at them, and vice versa. Nakoma, they adapt pretty well as their rivals. But you know, Aobajosai, they talk about it in the show. The coaches don't really talk a lot. It's a lot of player interaction on their end, just trying to figure things out and picking things apart and evolving their game while it's going on. And it's cool to see that it's not just a static thing. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. It's just the format of the show is like the games are long and they don't seem samey, if that makes sense. It's not like, you know, oh, okay, you know, you not to learn this move, so they beat Aobajosai, and it's like one episode, it's like, no, okay, you not to learn this move, they score a few points, and they maybe even, you know, take a set, but now Aobajosai is gonna, you know, do this and stop them. And, you know, now both teams have to, you know, constantly go back and forth and react, and it's just a very cool thing to see if, like, oh, well, you know, now this person is gonna just use their special move and, you know, it's all over. It's kind of a shot at, like, I don't know. I was gonna say my hero, but I don't want to offend anybody, but, you know, it's like if Deku just did a super powerful punch to defeat his enemies, like, that are really difficult. It's like, oh, you know it's coming, but he doesn't want to use it because, you know, he doesn't want to hurt himself, and that's a valid reason. That's a valid reason. And I know it's not as simple as that, it's just a very generic example, but that's what I'm saying, is that the solution at the end isn't always this, like, super move. I don't know if I explained that well, but, and I'm sorry if I offended anyone. Another thing I wanted to talk about briefly, man, I've been rambling for quite some time, and I'm pretty sure I've been just saying the same things for like 8 minutes. Like, I focused on one thing for 8 minutes, and then I focused on another thing, and I just been talking in a circle, but, you know, that's kind of just what these are. Rambles about things I like, and I hope you guys enjoy that as much as I do. But another thing that I liked is that the animation for when things are portrayed as super strong, I think it's amazing. You get that weight, you get that feel of, you know, something that's super impactful. So like Oikawa's power serve in season 2, at the end of the game when the ball like ripples and it goes super speed, or when Mad Dog hits some of his spikes, he gets all like the line work gets all gritty. And man, I don't really know if I'm explaining it right, but if you've seen the show, you've seen the show. And the same with the big guy from Shiratorizawa. What's his name? Jesus. I always get his name and the name of the school mixed up. But yeah, the big spiker guy. And I claim to be a fan of the show, jeez. Ushijima, I think is his name. Something like that, man. Oh, I'm so sorry. But yeah, when he spikes, the first time or the first few times, he's got that, he's got the animation style, and that's amazing. And I talked about this a bit earlier, but just the fact that it's not just about one person, it's not even just about one team, is something that I really liked. I think that it was just at the end of my notes here, so I wanted to mention it again, but the fact that it's not just Hinata, it's not just Kageyama, it's about the whole team of Karasuno, Suga, Asai, Daichi, Suki, Yamaguchi, Tanaka, everyone. Yeah, the fact that it's not just about them, and it's about, everyone, Alba Josai, Tadeko, Shiratorizawa, Nekoma, every team, that has a great cast, and, you end up, you want every team to win because they do such a good job of making characters, at least on my end, that I enjoyed, and I wanted them to win. I'm like, oh man, I like these characters, I don't want them to lose, but at the same time, I like everyone. And it's such a joy to watch because of that, because because of their spirit, and, their mindset, that even if they lose, they're not just gonna sulk. I mean, yeah, they're gonna be sad, but, who wouldn't be? And like I said, they're gonna have, they have such a investment in emotion and just blood, sweat, and tears into it, that they're gonna take their losses and they're gonna turn it into something spectacular the next time they come around. And okay, I think I mentioned pretty much everything, except for one small note at the end here, which I thought was pretty interesting, is that Kageyama refuses to use Hinata's name for a while until he starts to respect him a bit. I thought that was a pretty neat little thing. I don't know if that was intentional, it probably was. But I just thought that was neat. But yeah, this video is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I was looking at my notes, I'm like, I don't know if I can talk about this. It's probably only going to be like 10 to maybe 15 minutes. And here we are at 30 minutes. And I think I say that every single time I start to record a video. And I think I mention it every single time. But, like I said, it's a very rambly format. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys want a more structured, ramble, then I can do that as well. But I don't know if people really watch this for the review side of things, or just want to listen to someone just ramble on about something they like. Or maybe it's both. I don't know. And again, I guess if you were really interested in a particular topic that I've rambled about in the past, you could, let me know, and I could try and make a more concise and more critique-heavy video about it. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I don't know when I'm gonna be posting next. I don't know what it's gonna be about. I've been playing a lot of Hades lately. The new Monster Hunter's coming out. I'm finishing season 4 of Haikyuu. I can always talk about Lord of the Rings. things that I could be talking about, and I don't want to make any promises about the next one just in case I think of something else. But yeah, like I said, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. I hope everyone is doing as well as they can. Yeah, I guess I'll see you guys, or I guess I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Have a good night.